All right, everyone. My name is Meredith, and I am your introducer of this call, the Keep It Pro training call, brought to you by Networking Wisdom. I am absolutely honored, excited, mixed feelings, because today is our last call of this platform as we know it today. 9 years it's been running. Romacio Fulcher, the host and creator of this call, has been serving us for 9 years every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific. I can't even believe it's been that long, but it has. And all good things come to an end, and today is the last call. I'm so happy that every call over the 9 years has been recorded, and they are all posted on Romacio Fulcher's YouTube page. So at any time you can go and check it out and see all the wisdom calls that are on there, and find one that's relevant for your current situation. So I'm really happy to know that 9 years worth of wisdom is recorded. So as many of you know, and some of you who don't, the purpose of this platform was originally to teach skills for people who want to get to the next level in their business or personal life. And it started to transition into adding the importance of faith-based principles on how to live your life and to make decisions in your business. For me personally, these calls have been life-changing. I can't speak for all of you, but for myself, I have transformed in so many ways. It has opened my eyes to see things from different perspectives that it never occurred to me to look at things like that before, to learn the importance of having a relationship with God, understanding the Word, and really meditating on the Word and its value and what it means to you, and how you can apply it to your life. And Romacio has done an absolutely fantastic job of making it so easy for us, even maybe non-believers, to listen to and be able to receive the information. And it's incredible how he is able to communicate the most important concepts that can change people's lives. So it's a bittersweet. Today is the last call. I do not know yet what the next phase is, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and Romacio hopefully will tell us today. But let me go ahead and get out of the way, and for one more time, let Romacio come on board and drop his pearls of wisdom on us today. Romacio, are you there?
Absolutely, I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All righty. Thank you so much, Meredith. Thank you so much. It is bittersweet. But I want to once again publicly say thank you for your support. Monique, I remember she was a host, and we've had probably tons and tons of different hosts along the 9 years that we've done this platform. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for your support. We understand that it takes time, and, Sunday is typically a day of rest when people are preparing themselves, for the next week. But I thank you to all of you guys that have, if I don't mention your name, I just want to say thank you for stepping up and being our host and helping make this vision come to pass. I also want to say that it is true, today is the final call. This is it. Come one, come all, because today is the final call of this platform. There's no tricks, there's no gimmicks, there's no gotchas. This is it. Somebody say that out loud. This is it. This is the final call of this 9-year platform that we have done together. Of course, I'm echoing, before we get to the message, I'm echoing what Meredith said. I'm echoing what she said, because you can go to our YouTube channel. It's Romacio Fulcher. If you don't know, it's Romacio. Last name Fulcher. Once again, Romacio. Last name Fulcher. And you can listen to 9 years worth of Sunday calls just like this, done by myself and various other people that we brought on the platform. 9 years. And I got to tell you something. I dare you to be courageous enough. I dare you to be courageous enough to make it, to put this in your schedule, to go and listen to these calls consistently. While you're driving to work, while you're driving from work, maybe while you're heading to the gym, you're on the treadmill or whatever. I promise you, let me explain something to you really powerful. The best things in your entire life are given to you absolutely free. I'm going to say that again. The best things in your entire life are given to you for free. The world and man has taught us that if we pay for something, we'll pay attention. Did you hear what I just said? I said the world and man has taught us if we pay for something, we'll pay attention. But God, who established the world, loved us so much that the greatest gift that we all get to enjoy, they came absolutely free. I want you to catch what I just said to you. So now that I'm sharing with you, there's a free platform on YouTube. Don't cost you nothing. It's free. You don't have to worry about listening to me, and at the end, I'm going to sell you to go here and pull out your credit card and let's do this. And I'm not knocking people for having different strategies on how they run their business. I have no problem with it. However, I just don't do that. That's not what God ever told me 9 years ago when he instructed me to do this platform. He didn't tell me to do it and charge people and use it as a revenue generation source. Again, I don't fault. I'm not throwing shade at anybody. If that's what they do, that's just not what I was instructed to do. So here we are at the final call, and I'm telling you, go back and re-listen to these free calls. Absolutely free. I promise you, the value that is hidden inside of these calls will not only change your life, it will take you to the next level in your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I want to reveal to you why the last 5 years in particularly have been so powerful. I've heard friends of mine say, Romacio, when we first started the platform, it was mainly focused about teaching specific skills to help people get to the top. And for those of you that may not know, I spent 16 years in the network marketing profession, and I became one of the very best out of 300 million plus people. And this is not my opinion. I'm proud to announce I was one of the top 20 in the entire world of network marketing. In case you don't know, the network marketing industry generates billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. It's no small potato. Me, myself, I've been privileged with God's grace, him leading the way through me. I've been privileged to be able to generate several $billions of sales. I didn't say million, I said billions, and I didn't stutter. Billions. So you're right. The first 5 years of this platform was mainly focused on me teaching people how to get to the top and how to stay on top. It wasn't just in network marketing. And for those of you that, once again, may be misinformed and just don't know, it's okay. I used to be ignorant, which means not to know as well. But for those of you that just don't know, the same skills, network marketing is probably, I have such an affinity and such a love for that business model. I understand the very few people have huge financial success in it. I get that. I understand all the myths and misnomers that many people have been taught in their head, which 90% of them aren't true. But let me share with you the positive elements about network marketing. If you take it serious, it is the only business I'm aware of in the entire global world where you can pay under $2,000 to join a business, and you will have experts within that business. They are forced, I repeat myself, they are forced to teach you the details on and all the trade secrets on how to be successful as an individual and how to run a successful business from cradle to grave. It's the only place in the entire world where the people at the top are forced to teach you all of the trade secrets on how they got to the top. Teach you everything about people, psychology, presentations, recruiting, disciplines. I mean, I could go on for hours and hours and hours. It's the only place in the world where you get to learn all of the business skills necessary to become a sharp business person. It's the only place in the world. You get to learn how to deal with all different ethnicities from all around the world. And I myself, yes, I'm very proud. I wave my flag very, very proudly to stand at the top of that mountain and say, yes, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, and I've actually done it, and I left on top. So for the first 5 years, that's what we were doing. We were teaching people the skills on how to be successful in business. Then, for the last 5 years, something spoke to me in my spirit that said, listen, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and then lose his soul? Like, how would I feel if you teach these people these business tips and how to be better and be more skilled and make money and accomplish their dreams and so forth, but yet and still the most important thing that matters more than anything, which is not the money, which is their soul, it just rots and goes away. So we said, no, I can't do that. And 5 years ago, we began to teach faith-based principles. But I want to talk to you about the last 5 years as to why I find the last 5 years more rewarding on this platform than the first 5 years. Ooh, this is going to be real good. I hope you're ready. The first 5 years, there was literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that would come listen to the call. Live, some of them live and many of them on the replay. But I'm talking about tens of thousands of people would come and listen. Can you imagine? Just imagine. Here's a guy that's made many millions of dollars, and he did it all from working from home and built a global business of 750,000 people in 48 countries around the world. He's well respected by his peers. This guy went from the bottom to the top. I mean, can you imagine? And he's going to talk for an hour and tell us exactly how and what we need to work on to get there? Just think about that. And he's going to do that for free? Absolutely. There were tens of thousands of people that wanted to hear that all the time. But as I told you, I don't move to the drum, to the beat of the drum of what other people think I should do. I've never been that way. I don't move to the beat of what others think that I should do. I don't do it that way. So 5 years into it, God told me, hey, listen, I want you to start teaching faith-based principles. And the reason why we kind of added faith-based principles 5 years ago is because 5 years ago is when I made one of the toughest business decisions I've ever made in my 47 years of being on planet Earth. And that was after 16 years of being full-time in the network marketing industry. And I'm proud to say, really, can you imagine, getting yourself to a point where you're earning about $500,000 every single month. But yet and still, there's some things that are unsettling to you. There's some things that are, there's some things that you just can't deal with anymore. And I'm not going to get into that right now. But long story short, after careful thought and prayer, God told me to go a different direction. Told me to go a different direction. I'll never forget talking to my partners back then and saying, I'm done. As the cartoon commercial says, that's all, folks. That's all, folks. That was it 5 years ago. And it was very hard because I was making multiple six figures a month income. And just like that, it all came to a screeching halt. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but wait a minute, I thought in network marketing, they tell you you're going to make residual income for years and years and years. Yeah, that can be true as long as you stay with the company. But if you see something unethical that's happening inside the company and you don't want to be attached with that anymore and you decide to leave, well, the moment you decide to leave, they're going to cut your income completely off. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. Matter of fact, I've gotten so much better. But that is what happened. So here I am, and I, 5 years ago, transitioned into nowhere. I knew that I was done with network marketing. I was completely finished, and I would never come back and do it again as a distributor. Never, ever, ever, ever. I was done. Like I said, that's all, folks. And I went out on top. But I certainly was upset that the fact that my income had been cut completely, down to zero. And so now I'm there. I'm living off of my savings and my investments and that sort of thing. But this time, it was different for me. 5 years ago, I said, I'm going to do things a little differently this time. When I decided to walk away from network marketing, I don't want to lie to you or fool you to think that that was a 15-minute decision. Oh, no. It took me months and months and months, probably about 6 months of deliberation, back and forth and back and forth, and praying to God and praying and talking to my spiritual advisors and more prayer and more prayer and more prayer and trying to be strategic and more prayer and where am I going to go and what's next and what am I going to do? And finally, after months and months and months and months and months, I cut the cord and said, I'm done. But I want to talk to you today, and the theme of today's call is, what is God saying to you right now? I want you to listen to my story. It's a good one. It's a great one. But what is God saying to you right now about your life? Back to my story. So before I decided to quit network marketing, I prayed. You heard me say that 10 times. I prayed. I spoke to God. I sought wise counsel. And I walked away. And all God told me, all God said was I was to go do my own business, go do my own thing. But he didn't say what it was. So can you imagine me? I've got 16 years of experience, sales, marketing, building gigantic teams, selling everything from, you name it, I sold it, right? I'm really good at it. One of the best in the world at it, that's for sure. But I don't know what my next move is. Woo, this is good. Did you hear what I said? But I don't know what my next move is. This is 5 years ago. I don't know what my next move is. I don't know. I want you to write that down, and I want you to circle it. I want you to write that down, and I want you to circle it. I don't know. I don't know. But I trusted God. You know, many people struggle with or don't have enough faith to walk away from something good that they're making money from, to move towards purpose, which can take them to something great. Let me say that again. Many people don't have the courage, the strength, the faith to walk away from something that you could argue is going pretty good. I was making 6 figures a month. Many people don't have, I'm going to say it again. I'm talking to anybody who would dare listen. Many people don't have the courage to walk away from something that many of their friends would argue is pretty good. Girl, you got it good. Man, it's going really good. Man, you're making 6 figures a month. What's wrong with you, Mom? What is wrong with you? Nothing's perfect in life. What's wrong with you? Just shut up and sit down. But my spirit was vexed. V-E-X-E-D, vexed. My spirit was so unsettled with this unethical behavior that consistently kept happening to me. I had nowhere to run. I couldn't go tell the people that were in my downline, or my success partners as we call them. I couldn't go tell them. They weren't going to feel sorry for me. Romacio, you're making almost $500,000 a month. What's wrong with you? Can you imagine? So I couldn't tell any of them. I couldn't go to my neighbors or, some of my business colleagues. I'm a bit disappointed. Business is not go. It's going okay. I'm $500,000 a month, but it's supposed to be a lot more. And da 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 da. I had no one to go tell except me and God. And I just refused to keep settling for less than what I truly deserved. I want you to write that down, and I want you to circle that 3 times. I refuse to keep settling on less than what I truly knew I deserved. I built it. I did it. It was mine. I deserved it. But they wasn't giving it to me. They kept trying to steal it from me. They kept trying to give me a portion of what I earned. They kept trying to change things and move the goalposts. And I had no one to talk to about it. No one. But I knew what I built. And I refused to keep settling for less than what I truly deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, my question to you again is, what is God saying to you right now about your life? When you consistently continue to settle for less than what you truly, 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 truly deserve, and you earned it, ladies and gentlemen, it will begin to affect your self-esteem. The word self-esteem means to have esteem in oneself. In other words, if you don't fight for you, nobody else will. That's why I don't really listen to what a lot of people think about the choices that I make in my life. I don't listen to a lot of people. That's why I don't have a problem with what people say, because I don't listen anyway. Because you're not the one that's got to be responsible for it. I do. I have to be responsible if I do it or if I don't do it. And I'm telling you that I chose to leave that company 5 years ago because I knew it was wrong. And yes, I was making, I guess you could say, good money, but it wasn't what I truly deserved. And I couldn't continue to preach to people like you about go out there and accomplish your dreams. Go after all your dreams with all your might. And here it is. I was settling. I was settling. I was settling. Oh, yeah. You can have a nice house, nice couple cars, nice clothes, travel first class, and still be settling. Oh, yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I'm so glad that I stayed true to who I am. I didn't look for a crowd to endorse me when I was coming in, and I certainly didn't look for a crowd to celebrate me when I was going out. I didn't look for no crowd. I did not look for any crowd. In other words, I didn't need your applause when I was coming, and I don't need your applause when I leave. I stand firm in the courage of my convictions when I make a decision. I stand firm in the courage of my convictions when I make a decision. So that decision, I left. And God told me to go do my own thing, but he didn't tell me where to go. Have you ever been in a situation where God just gave you a couple of words and that was it? And you wanted more details, and I just wouldn't give you more details. I want to give you some confirming news to you today. God is very big on vision. God is very short on details. God is very big on vision and purpose, but he's very short on details. I say that to you emphatically because I know a lot of you are developing your faith, as am I, and one of the signs between young faith and maturing faith, the young faith says, well, I can't go unless you give me steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, God. I've got a family to feed. I've got kids. I've got a wife. I've got a husband. I've got this. I have to know. I've got to have all my ducks in a row. That's young faith. That's very young faith. God does not give you all of the details. He'll give you the vision, and as you take more steps towards it, he'll reveal more and more and more as you move towards the vision. I'm not telling you what I think, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you what I've experienced. This is what I know. And so 5 years ago, he told me to go ahead and start teaching faith-based principles. Now, I want to reveal to you that the whole time you might have thought that I was teaching you the last 5 years. And really, I was teaching myself, and you had a chance to listen in. You know, they say you really don't know anything until you can teach it to someone else. You know, they also say that if you really want to hold yourself accountable, go tell someone else what you're about to do. See, some people say, no, don't tell anybody what you're about to do. Well, then there's nobody to hold you accountable if you don't do it. And so I told people we're going to be teaching faith-based principles on this Sunday call. And we're also going to teach you the specific skills. And that's what we did. But the last 5 years, it was more centered around faith-based principles. Now listen to me, because I want you to understand something. God told me to teach faith-based principles. I did it. I'm so glad that I never really care about how many people are listening. I'm so glad that I didn't have a big ego where I'm so glad that I didn't have a big ego where I was expecting millions and millions of people to be on this call. I'm so glad that my posture when I started this platform, when we made the transition 5 years ago and we started teaching faith-based principles, I'm so glad that my goal was to be effective, but not to be famous. I didn't care about if it was 300, 3,000, or 3 people. Because I'm teaching principles, faith-based principles. And if one person gets the principle, you see, in the world system, 1 + 1 = 2. But in the kingdom, 1 + 1 = infinite. 1 + 1 is infinite. So I'm glad that I had my mindset right, and I had a spirit of wanting to obey what God told me to do. I'm glad that I had the right spirit to obey. Because the last 5 years of teaching faith-based principles has been far more rewarding to me and hopefully all of you that have listened than the first 5 years of just teaching the skills on how to become more successful and make a lot of money. Now, I'm not negating and putting down skills, though. You definitely do need skills to get you up the hill. You surely do. But how about not just getting to the top, but staying on top? And that's where the faith-based principles comes into play. And that's why I'm eagerly urging you to go back. And even though we end today as I transition into something else, but I'm urging you to go back and take these free calls, these timeless principles that are taught with great precision over the last 5 to 10 years here on this platform, and I hope you covet them. I hope you covet them. I hope you feel what I feel for you. A one-on-one helmet talk, a one-on-one conversation with me and you, teaching you accurately exactly how to do that thing. I hope you take it serious. And I know the mystery in the room. All of this is free, Mom? It's absolutely free. And why did I always keep the call free? What principle was I working? The biblical principle. What I make happen for others, God will make it happen for me. Write that down. What you make happen for others, God will make it happen for you. I used my gift of leadership, my gift of speaking, my gift of teaching, my gift of being one of the most determined people I've ever met, one of the most persistent people I've ever met, one of the most flexible people I've ever met, and one of the most loving people I've ever met. I used my gift Sunday after Sunday, free of charge, to give you something, knowing that on the back end, God is going to do something remarkable for me. And I hope you choose to covet that YouTube channel and go listen to those calls. I really hope you do. Because the last 5 years of my life has actually been the hardest 5 years of my life. I'm involved in a business that has to do with commodities. I'm involved in a business that has to do with trade. I'm involved in a business that has to do with finance. All 3 of the words I just mentioned, commodities, trade, and finance, I knew nothing about that stuff prior to 5 years ago. I don't have a license. I didn't go to school for commodities, trade, or finance. But as the great rapper Khalid says, God did. He knew. He had a plan for me, just as he has a plan for you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I pivoted into a completely different business But this time, let me tell you what was different. What was different this time, guys, is I was determined to only do what God had for me to do. I am not the type of guy that sit up here and lie to you and tell you that my whole life I've always wanted to follow God. That ain't true. My whole life I've always wanted to be obedient to God. That certainly ain't true. But this time I had said to myself, I've had some success in my prior business. You know, we're talking about network marketing where, yeah, many people, you know, oh, Romacio, you're amazing, you're this, blah, 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 right? I call that some success. But I said, God, this time I want to counsel with you before I make my next move. And I'm going to wait until you tell me when to go. Just tell me when to go. In other words, I want you to write this down. This is huge. I chose to do something different this time. And here's what I want you to write down. The greater the change that you make, I'm talking to you. This is not just a business phone call. I'm talking to every listener, both live and those that hear the replay. The greater the change that you make, I'm going to say it again, the greater the change, the greater the change, the greater the change, the greater the reward. The greater the change, the greater the reward. Do you know change is an ugly business? Oh, change is an ugly business. Most of us don't like change. We don't like change. No. I am an iPhone user. I am not switching to Samsung. My mother is 74. I've been trying to get her on an iPhone for the longest. Oh, no, baby. I'm sticking with my Samsung. I know how to work this phone. This phone got the best technology. iPhone is number 2. Samsung is number 1. I ain't changing. I'm like, Mama, please, would you just get an iPhone? That way when we text you, I can see it turn blue, so I know you got it. You know, all that Samsung, I can't text you pictures. I can't do this. I can't do that. Come on. People don't like change. Change is an ugly business. Now, here's what I want you to write down. This is good. I told you it's going to be real good. I told you last week it was going to be good. Most of us that call ourselves Christians or call ourselves believers, we are stuck in serving a God of tradition versus worshiping a God who's in transition. Most of us that call ourselves believers, I'm not saying that you don't believe. I'm not saying that. But be careful. We get stuck in serving and praising a God of tradition. What's that mean? In other words, we're very religious. We have all these, religious practices and all these traditions and traditions. You know what the word tradition means. Well, why do you do it? Why do you do it that way? Because that's just the way we do it. Well, how come you're doing it that way? Well, that's just the way we've always done it. That's the way we've always done it. We've always done it that way, so we don't change. And I am encouraging you today to learn to follow the God of transition, a God who's in transition. Write that down. You better circle that. Write that down. I am following the God of transition, not just the God of tradition. You see, change is an ugly business. But did you also know, according to the principles that God has put in place, change is the only thing that's constant in the entire world. Nothing will forever stay the same. But see, a lot of times we fight and we wrestle with change. I know I do. I know I did. We fight it because the reason why we're so frightened by change is because the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown. And, well, where am I going? And how am I going to get there? And what's it going to be like once I get there? And are you sure I'm fit for this? And there's all this head stuff going on. And I'm not trying to make light of that. It's a real thing going on in your head. But that's why I'm telling you a real story. God told me to start teaching faith-based principles. We did it. God told me to move into the commodities, trade, and finance space. I'm in it now. I trusted God this time. I trusted God this time. I trusted God this time. Are you hearing me? I trusted God. Oh, if you're looking for me to tell you a home run story, because I trusted God, it's been so glorious and there's been no hard days and it's just been overwhelming successful. And no, that's not the story. That's not what I'm going to tell you. I trusted God, and guys, let me tell you, it got harder than it's ever been. It got tougher than it's ever been for me. At one point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing the Sunday call and I'm talking to you, but after I hang up the phone, I don't even know my name. I'm going to say it again. It got so tough. Yeah, I'm being obedient. I'm doing what God told me to do to the best of my ability, but I'm confused about everything else. There's only two things I wasn't confused with. One, what my name was, and two, that God told me to do this. That's it. You could ask me a question about anything else, and I'm liable to say to you, I don't know. I really don't know. Because everything that I thought I knew has now been shaken up. Everything that I thought I knew has now been in question. It's confusing now. It reminds me of a guy named Moses. It reminds me of another prophet named Jonah. Or excuse me, not Jonah, but Noah. And in both cases, you look at Noah, God told him to build an ark. I'm going to keep it short. He told him to build a boat. Do you realize Noah had not seen, heard, didn't even know how to spell the word rain? But he just followed God. Just did what God said. And did you know it took him a while to build the ark, the boat, and people were laughing at him. I'm sure Noah began to question himself, why am I doing this? I don't see the purpose for this. I'm doing this Sunday call Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. I'm doing it because I made a promise to you. I said I was going to do it, so I'm doing it. Lord, I don't feel like doing this every Sunday. Are these people even getting this stuff I'm teaching? Is this even making sense to anybody out there? But yet I still kept doing it. Still kept doing it. On the other hand, you look at Moses. The first 40 years of his life, he grew up, privileged. He was adopted by King Pharaoh's wife, and he lived in the council. He had privilege. He was royalty. And one day, long story short, he kind of found out that he was really not. He was not born technically by, Pharaoh and his wife. He had been adopted. And Moses realized that he was basically no greater than the slaves. And so Moses leaves. He gets pissed off. And he left the palace. And ventured off into the wilderness. For 40 years, he roamed around. 40 years. I want you to picture this in your mind. In the wilderness, disheveled, confused, angry, confused. Did I say the word confused? Confused. I don't understand. That was me. I'm doing what you said. I trust you. I've asked God probably at least 100 different times. Are you sure this is what you want me to do? Commodities, trade, and finance. Commodities, trade, and finance. Commodities, trade, and finance. Are you sure, Lord? And each time God will say yes. Yes. Romacio, you're exactly where I want you to be. You're exactly where I want you to be. And then God gave me one other instruction outside of getting in the commodities, trade, and finance business. And this is all he said. He said, Romacio, stay close to me. That's all he said. I wish I could tell you that he gave me 3, 4, 5, 6 instructions. He didn't. He gave me 2 instructions. One, he told me this is where I need to be, and he told me He told me what was going to happen and how he was using me as a vessel in the commodities, trade, and finance space. And the second instruction he told me was to stay close to him. That's all he said to me. Again, I repeat to you, God is big on vision, short on details. But here's what I want. This is why the theme of the final call is, what is God saying to you right now? What is he saying to you? Are you listening for God? Are you seeking after God? Are you pursuing God? Which means, are you reading the Word? Are you spending any time with him? Are you just wandering aimlessly, caught up in the world system? Work to home, home to work, work to home, home to work, work to home, home to work. Do you understand you're on this call for a specific reason? Do you understand you're on this call for a specific reason? Perhaps you thought you were coming here to support me, and yes, I appreciate you, but in return, look at the gift that's being given to you. Absolutely free, I say again. What is God saying to you right now? So I got to tell you, the last 5 years has been the hardest 5 years of my life, but it's been the most rewarding 5 years of my life. My relationship with my faith, with God, has exploded. My understanding and learning more and more about how God works and how his principles and how his character, and learning his means of his mode of operandi, I would say. I'm learning more and more and more and more. It's been the most rewarding of my entire life. And here's the funny part. I would have never experienced this had God not put me in an inconvenient situation. Woo! I would have never experienced what I'm experiencing now had God not placed me in an inconvenient situation. See, it was convenient for me to do network marketing because I did it for 16 years. I knew it inside and out. It was very inconvenient for me to come and do something completely, I don't even know how to spell commodities. I don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about trade. What do you mean, finance? What are you talking about? I didn't know any of that. But as I say again, God did. And I trusted him. And I've seen his sovereignty come forth. I've seen his provision carry me through. And this is what I want to tell you. If you would be bold enough, courageous enough, check with God on your very next decision, on your very next move. Do the best you can to have a spirit of obedience and say, Lord, I'm going to be like Romacio. I'm going to do something different this time. I usually don't make decisions this way. I usually just kind of go by how I feel, do what I want. But because, God, you know more about me than I know about myself. Because, God, you are the beginning and you are the end. You make no mistakes. There's no wasted time in you. You know what? Romacio has inspired me. I'm going to make this next decision. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to get on my hands and knees, and I'm going to say, Lord, I need you to give me a vision. Lord, I need you to give me direction. And I'm going to thank you in advance as a testament of my faith in you to know that you told me that any man or woman that lacks wisdom, all we had to do was ask. So I'm not going to beg you, Lord, because you told me not to beg. You said I'm not a beggar. I'm a queen. I'm a king. And I'm going to speak like one. Queens and kings make declarations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what you said to do, God. I'm telling you, I await. Your humble servant awaits your vision for my life, your vision for my relationship, your vision for my finances. And I thank you in advance. That's it. That's all you got to do. But every morning, what I want you to do is wake up and say, Lord, how can I obey you? That's it. That's all I want you to say. That's it. Lord, how can I obey you? That's it. How can I obey you? What would you like me to do today? Now, God knows you got to go to work and you got to do your thing and do what you do. But I want you to notice your posture, your heart posture. It's shifted now because you're waking up not just checking your cell phone, but you're waking up and you're just saying, You're considering God. You're waking up and you're saying, Lord, how can I obey you today? And look here. You don't got to go tell your boyfriend what you're doing. You don't got to tell your girlfriend what you're doing. You ain't got to go make announcements on social media. Oh, my God, I woke up this morning and I told the Lord, how can I obey him? You ain't got to do all that. Matter of fact, God don't want you doing all that. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's phony. God is interested in a real relationship with you. You don't need to make all these announcements, what you're doing. Just do it. That's it. Just do it. And I'm telling you that when you do that, God, your Father, he's smiling because you're trusting him. And now he's leaning into the relationship. He's been waiting for you to do this. And see, I want you to write this one word down. When we start serving God and we start trying to follow after God and be like him and really, adhere to his ways and his teachings and stuff like that, when we start trying to do that, I want to tell you something. God operates very counterintuitive. I just want you to write that down and put a little smiley face next to that. Counterintuitive. A lot of the times what you think God is going to do, many times he ain't going to do it that way. That's why it's so amazing. We don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but what we do know is that he is going to do it. How do we know this? We know this is very simple because of Isaiah 55 and 10. Isaiah 55 and 10. Write it down. Isaiah 55 and 10. I'm not going to read the whole scripture. You can read it later. But when God speaks something, he's not a man. He does not lie. When his word goes out, it never comes back null and void. It always accomplishes what it's set forth to do. God's word works every time. Write it down. I'm very bullish on this point because I want all of us to get this. God's word works every time. God's word works every time. Now, what I want you to say is from now on, my words are going to work. From now on, my words are going to work. From now on, my words are going to work. From now on, my words are going to work. Today is the last call. And I started this series 5 years ago talking about hearing God's voice. Don't you find it quite ironic that the last call that we're talking about ends on the same thing we started with? What is God saying to you now? Everything that I've told you in between then and now, everything that I've told you has to do with, in some form or fashion, of hearing God's voice and having a spirit to obey it. For those of you that like to summarize, well, what is these calls about? What is the purpose of all this? Where are we going with all this? The goal is to teach you, to teach us together, to teach you how to learn to hear God's voice more and more and more. Number one and number two, together for us to learn how to have a spirit of obedience to obey what God said do. I want to tell you firsthand, ladies and gentlemen, obeying God, some people say it's easy. I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could sit here and lie to you and say, oh, it's so easy. I would love to let my lips formulate those words, but my spirit just don't believe that. So you're going to have to pray for me. It's not easy. But it is rewarding. It is rewarding. And I got to tell you, God, Lord, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for all the blessings, both the good and the bad, that God has been able to spare me or to walk me through. He's been there with me through it all. I've learned over the last 5 years that many people that I thought would be there, both friends, associates, and family members, sometimes just won't be there in the way that I thought. I've learned it is true. God will be closer to you than a mother, a father, a brother, and a sister. I've also learned throughout these 5 years that as deep as you want to go, God can take you there. If you want to stay in the shallow 3 feet waters of life, God will be right there with you. He said he would never leave you, nor would he forsake you. That promise is real and true. If you want to go into the deep waters of life, the deep waters, if you've got big faith to take you there, which I encourage you, for those of you, I encourage you to get some of that big faith, absolutely. He'll meet you there in the deep waters as well, and he'll be right there with you. God has really shown me a whole lot about his character, his reliability, his strength, his power, and his omnipotence, how big he is. Every time I try and think I can contain God and explain him this way, I find myself stuttering because you can't contain God. He's fire, he's water, he's wind. He's whatever he wants to be, whenever he wants to be. He's that big. I mean, it's that overwhelming when you really, really lean on him and you trust him. Yes, his grace and mercy is everlasting. Makes you fall in love with him even more and more and more, to know what a wretched man or woman that we both are, but yet he doesn't see us like that. He sees us as kings and queens that sit at his attention at his right hand, at the right side of his throne. There we stand, you and I. We stand right there. This is how God sees us. This is how God sees us. And the reason why I want you to know that everything that you're going to get from God, it has to do with the way that you see yourself. Everything that you, my friend, are going to receive from the Lord, it has to do with the way that you see yourself. So in other words, sometimes because we are made in part flesh and we make mistakes and we get caught up in sin and we do these things. I mean, look, I'm real. We do these things. These things happen. So sometimes what happens is our mind begins to look at ourselves less than how God sees us. God's word says that, hey, listen, ask for forgiveness. He throws that sin into the sea of forgetfulness to never be brought up again. Never. So all my fellows on the call here, you like the way that sounds, don't you, right? You make a mistake, God says, hey, listen, ask for forgiveness and keep moving. I ain't going to ever bring that up again. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about, right? You've been in a relationship, you know what I mean? You make a mistake, and man, oh my gosh, you just keep reminding me about that mistake. That's not how God does it. God don't roll like that. He don't do it like that. He says you're forgiven, and we're never going to talk about that again. Okay, so why am I saying this? I'm saying this to you because this is so important. Because a lot of the time, when we get caught up in shame and condemnation and our mistakes and our imperfectness and all this stuff, it never allows us to take on the posture, to mirror the posture in the way that God sees us. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because if I can't see myself the way God sees me, I will always accept less than what God has for me. When I can't see myself the same way that God sees me, then I will always accept less than what God has for me. And here's the bad part about that. Then I will teach my children and my friends it's okay to accept less. When in actuality, what God wants from all of us is he wants us to trust him, number one. Number two, he wants you to take up your space in the world and accomplish great and mighty things in the world. He's waiting on you to take up your space. Take up your space. Take up your space. Take up your space. Take Take up your space in the world. Do your thing. I'm doing my thing. That's why I ain't worried about what you think. I'm doing my thing. You go do your thing, and then we can go to, and then we can get together and go to dinner and talk about that thing. Now, how you like that? Stop worrying about what I'm doing. I ain't worried about what you're doing. Take up your space. And I am here as a testimony to tell you, OMG, man, toughest decision I ever made, most rewarding decision I've ever done. What did I say earlier? The greater the change, the greater the reward. And I'm here to tell you guys that we have to bring this call as we know it to an end. And today is that final call. I know many of you are awaiting, well, what's next? What's next? Well, I'll be announcing that hopefully within the next 30 days. I'm not done talking to God yet. So you say, well, how will we know? How will we find you? What I'm going to ask each of you to do is make sure you follow me on Facebook. I don't do a lot of Facebook posting. I don't do a lot. Follow me on Instagram. And I promise you, when I do make the announcement of what we're going to be doing next, I will definitely make sure at least 1 week of my life I will post the same thing over and over and over again about what the next thing is. It'll be on Facebook and it'll be on Instagram. So I want to ask you, if you're listening live and or if you're listening to the replay, I want to make sure you friend me, send me a request, or send me a private message on Facebook. Send me because I think sometimes people get confused which one is me or whatever. Send me a message on Instagram, Romacio Fulcher. That's my handle, Romacio Fulcher. Okay. And I'm not done talking to God yet about what I'm going to be doing next in terms of serving the greater public the way that we're doing now. But I can promise you, I'm definitely going to be doing something. I know many of you have thought, well, why don't you do a podcast? If I were to be honest with you, if I were to tell you the truth, I just don't like doing what everybody else does. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's my pride. I don't know. I just don't like doing what everybody else does. So what I want to do is I just want to continue to meditate and just really sit with God. And what do you want me to do next? And if you want my honest opinion, what I'm interested in doing, I'm interested in going deeper with you guys. Deeper. Like I would be comfortable with the call with just 10, 15 people. That's it. But these are people that have chosen, they want to go deep into the faith. They want to go deep into the promise of what God has called them to do. Because that's where I'm at in my life. That's the season where I'm at. Shallow waters, we passed that. We're done with that. We're done with the baby faith. We're now into the big stuff. The deep. We're in the deep end. And I know the deep end is not for everybody, but I get fired up about people that literally, like, for example, that's a pretty big, bold move. Who do you know that's making lots and lots of money and says, you know what, I can't deal with the unethical behavior. I'm out. I quit. I'm done. Who does that? And then you go live on your savings and your investments and you wait for God to give you your next move. That's a really bold-faced move. That's really bold. Most people don't walk away from that type of income. I want to be honest with you. They don't. They'll find a way to compromise their beliefs. Listen, write it down. Write it down so you learn. They'll find a way to compromise their own beliefs. And I want to share something with you. When you begin to compromise your core values, it affects your self-esteem. What's that mean? That means you are no longer as powerful as you used to be because you just compromised your core values. And you know it. The world may still perceive you as this amazing man or this amazing woman, but you know when you compromise your core values. There's a difference between, being flexible and adapting versus a complete compromise. You're the first one to get the memo. You know. And when you do that, you are no longer as powerful as you used to be because your esteem has now been affected. So I don't really know what it's going to look like. All I know is I am going to be serving the world in a mighty way, and I'm going to let God lead me on what that looks like, and, I'm just kind of staying chill, staying relaxed, and I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to come.
But I'm not eager to go, oh, let's just do a podcast because everybody does it. Oh, I just told you a minute ago, I don't do what everybody else does. I just don't. That's not the way that I move. So what I want to do is I want to cover the last thing that I want to leave everybody with. I just gave you a story about why the last 5 years has been so powerful. It's been because, literally, I put God first. I want you to also know, not only did I put God first, I've made mistakes these last 5 years. I don't want any of you to think that I've been perfect or that my life is just, some silver spoon and it's all perfect. It's not true. That's not true at all. The only thing I've intentionally tried to do is I've tried to put God first. I've just tried to be obedient to what I heard him tell me to do. And I want to talk about this because I think that not enough people talk about this. You heard me mention this word obedient. And it is important. It's very important to God. It's very important because obedience is a sign of maturity. It's a sign of trust. When we obey what God asks us to do, it's a sign of, like I just said, maturity, and it's a sign of trust. And it's a signal to God that we can handle more. Let me say that again. I want you to write that down. When we do obey, it is a sign of our maturity in Christ, right? It's us maturing, number one. And number two, it's a sign that we trust God. But number three, when we obey God, what happens is it sends a signal back to God that we can now handle more. So I want you to write this down. What if I were to tell you that your next, or you receiving more? Let me say that again. Write this down. What if I were to tell you that your next and or your receiving more had to do with your ability to be obedient? Let me say it again. What if I were to tell you that your next, in other words, whatever you're waiting on next, whatever's next for you, and you receiving more from God, more of whatever you're waiting on, what if I told you that it has to do directly with your obedience? I want you to, when we get off this phone, I'm asking you to take 10, 15 minutes and just meditate on what I just said. Just that alone. My next, me receiving more has to do with my level of obedience. And let me get you to understand something. I have not been perfect. I wish I could sit up here and tell you, yeah, I've obeyed everything. No, I have not. No, I have not. I want to be honest with you, like I've always been. No, I have not. Obedience is a process. It's a process. It's a Think of a dog. Hey, sit down, dog. Dog jumping around. I said, sit down, dog. Dog still jumping around. Hey, dog, sit down. Dog still jumping around. It's a process. I got to teach him how to do it. Then he's going to do it right a couple times, and then he's going to go fool around again. Get back over here, dog. I got to teach him again. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. Let me tell you, and this is what I want you to put 5 asterisks next to this. What God is looking for, yes, he wants you to have a heart that wants to obey. God is looking for you to have a heart posture that says this, Lord, teach me how to obey, because my flesh is weak sometimes. It just is. Look, write it down. I'm telling you, write it down. Lord, teach me how to be obedient, because my flesh is weak sometimes. I'm not going to mince words. I don't want to sit up here and start acting all holier than thou with all these fancy words. I want to talk to you straight, God. My flesh is weak sometimes. I said I wasn't going to eat no more sugar, and I snuck over there and I ate a candy bar. Lord, teach me. Write this down. What God is looking for is your heart posture to be willing to be willing. Write that down. God is looking for my heart posture to be willing to be willing. He is not looking for you to be perfect. God knew you wasn't perfect when he gave you the vision, Romacio. God knew you wasn't perfect when he's talking to you right now and yesterday. He knows you ain't going to ever be perfect. He already know that. So stop tripping on that. But what God is looking for, your heart posture to be willing to be willing. That's a sign of maturity. Do not listen to your neighbors. Don't be listening to your friends. Well, you ain't obeying God. Man, shut up. Just shut up. I don't know why I'm like that, guys, but I am. You ain't obeying God. You ain't obeying God. That's not the way you talk to believers that are struggling with something. You remember the Bible. This is why I said shut up, because let me tell you what the Bible says. Satan is the accuser of the brethren. Satan is the one who accuses you. You ain't obeying God. You ain't obeying. That sounds like Satan to me. That sounds like Satan. That's not how God does it, man. If you're not obeying what God's going to do, He's going to keep nudging you and nudging you and nudging you, and little by little you're going to get more convicted. When God wants to get something through to you, my mom told me this story I'll never forget. I was a little boy, and I thought it was like all kids do. I thought my mom was making up stories. But she told me when God wants to get a message to you, it seemed like everywhere you go, it's just jumping off the shelf. It's everywhere you go, it just shows up. And the story she told me is God wanted to get her a message about something, and next thing you know, she's in the grocery store, and every aisle in the grocery store is just jumping off the shelf. And I'm like, Mom, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You're saying that God wants to get you a message, and He hid it on the shelf in every single aisle of the grocery store? You see why it was so hard for me to believe? Back then, I didn't have the revelation. I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand what she meant when she was saying that. But now I fully understand that when God is trying to get your attention and get a message to you, He will use anything, anyone, as much as it takes to constantly keep it on your mind so that you can be assured God is talking directly to you. That's what I'm saying. And so what I'm saying here, guys, is that God, obedience is so important. It's not because God's a hater and He's trying to hate on you. That's not true. And it's not because, oh my God, I can't make a mistake in my life. No, it's just a sign that shows God you can handle more. That's all it is. That's all it is. It shows that He can trust you. Now, why is that so important? Because He's a loving Father. And what you desire and what you want, listen, think about it this way. How many kids do you know that they want stuff that they can't handle? Well, adults ain't nothing but big kids. Adults ain't nothing but big kids. A lot of the times we want stuff that unbeknownst to us, we can't handle it. And so what God is looking for is just more obedience. That's it. And again, take a page out of the Romacio book. Anytime I start listening to people, if it so much as even sounds like I got to be perfect, I stop listening. I'm going to be honest with you. If it so much as even sounds like I've got to be perfect, I can't hear you. I just can't hear you. I can't. Stop talking to me. I can't hear that perfection stuff. Just get away. Beat it. Go on down the street. But if it sounds like progression, I can do that. I can make some progress. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That feels good to me. That feels real good to me. I can make progress in my life. Yeah. See, progress is a trend where you go up, you go down, you go up, you down, but it's trending upward. You see what I'm saying? Perfection is you go up, you don't ever come down. I can't do that. Oh, no, I can't do that. But I can trend north. Oh, yeah, I can trend. You ever look at a chart, a graph, and it's trending north? Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, it's trending upward, though. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can trend. I can do that. I can do that. I got faith for that. You see what I'm saying? So God, he wants this deep this intimate relationship with you. And right now, what I want you to really, really spend some time on is, what is God saying to you right now? What is he saying to you? What is he saying to you? I want you all to know that anything that you're going to accomplish, anything that's going to be significant, that's going to be great, I want you to know that the way that you're going to get it done is through your words. Your words are everything. We've talked about this for the last 5 years. Your words are everything. Your words are everything. Word power, word power, word power. You've got to speak faith. You've got to basically learn how to talk as if you're God. You've got to learn how to, you're a king, queen. Kings and queens, kings don't beg for stuff. Hey, man, would you do all this for me? Please, please, please. Kings don't do that. Kings don't beg. They decree. They declare. They speak. And things happen. I'm going to say it again. Kings don't beg. They make decrees and things happen. But that's the power of you spending time learning word power, word power, word power. Why am I leaving you with this today? Because everything God ever did, he spoke. God has never tussled nor toiled for anything. Everything he's ever accomplished or done, he spoke. He healed the people because he spoke to them. He created the world, including human beings, because he spoke it into existence. Everything he's ever done is because of the power of his word. And I'm trying to get you to understand that you and I, we possess that same power. And what I'm interested in doing for whatever my next is, I want to go with the people that want to go with me to the next level of word power. That's where I want to go. I don't care if it's one person, 2 people, 5 people, or 300. Whatever it is, I only want to be talking to the people together where we want to go deeper in our faith, because we are just itching to manifest great things in the earth realm. We don't want to wait no more. We tired of the waiting. We believe the harvest is now. That's the people I want to spend some time with. That's where I want to go, because that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Laugh all you want. That's where I'm at. And watch the manifestation happen. Watch the manifestation take place. Because I believed, I spoke it, I spoke it, I spoke it, I spoke it. I kept working, and working, and working. I kept speaking it, I kept speaking it. Even when I didn't see it, I never let go of the promise. And because I continued to speak it, and 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 speak it, that's why I now hold it in my hand. That's why I now hold it in my hand. When you looked at me and said, man, what's going on with Moss? We ain't heard from him 5 years. He's not on social media, man. I don't know what company he's doing. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm right on time. Why is that? Because I listened and I obeyed exactly what God wanted me to do. So I believe that if you'll listen to this, if you'll re-listen to this audio today, I believe there's so much meat hidden inside of the story that I just told you over the last 9 years that we've done this platform. I've revealed to you how we started it. I've revealed to you how we added on to it. And I've revealed to you, last but not least, that the last 5 years has been the absolute best, the best, most rewarding that we've taught on this call over the last 5 years. And it's because we focused on teaching faith-based principles as opposed to just teaching skills. And people who have baby faith, they don't quite understand how principles control and dominate your life. Principles control and dominate your life. But people that are maturing in their faith, those are the people that have an interest, they have an ear, they're inclined to really, really understand that, yes, you're right, principles. If I can just get the principle, if I can work the right principle, I can get the result I want. And right now, this principle of word power This is the number one principle that if you, along with myself, will spend time working this, I believe your manifestation is hidden in 2 words. Number 1, the first word is obedience. Number 2 is word power. I believe the manifestation of whatever you're looking for, healing, relationship, more joy, whatever it is you're looking for, whatever you really, that thing is, that dream of yours, it's hidden in 2 things. More obedience from you, write it down, more obedience from you, and word power. Word power. And I know we didn't spend a lot of time diving into word power because that's kind of my teaser for whatever my next is. I know it's got to do with word power. And I can't wait to really, really unleash this. And again, I will, like I said, I will let you guys know within the next 30 days. It'll be on social media, either Facebook or Instagram. But let me just say this, guys. I love each and every single person. I really appreciate your support. I want you to strongly guard these calls, even though they're going to be on my YouTube channel. Guard them closely. This is not frivolous or useless talk. This is what we call purpose talk. This time together is awesome. It's free. It's useful. It's relevant. And last but not least, it's timeless. The things that we have talked about on this call defy artificial intelligence. It's timeless. What's being taught on here are timeless. Do you hear me? Do you understand that? Do you get that? And I'm so glad that God chose to use me as a vessel while I was going through some of the toughest seasons of my life. I continue to focus on serving you. So let me tell you something. You could say I was bleeding while I was leading, but I never stopped serving you. So I know this nutrition is going to be good for you. It is so nutrient rich, these calls. It's full of so many gems that are timeless because I was truly bleeding in some cases while I was leading. So you can really feel it in my voice. I'm just telling you, when you listen and you listen with great intentionality and you repeat and you listen again and again and again, oh, this is it. This is it. These calls, this is it. The answer is here. I promise you that. I just pray you have the patience to go back and re-listen. Listen, guys, I love you guys dearly. As always, as I've always said, I'm Romacio Fulcher, 47 years young. They call me the California Kid. Always remember, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And last but not least, don't ever forget to strive for the top because the bottom is just simply overcrowded. I'll see you guys in the next season and the next chapter of my life. I love you guys all. Grab a hold of God, cling to him by faith, and don't let go. Thanks for following, guys. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, everybody.